We're going to go ahead and jump into our next segment run by Mr. David Wright. It is our weekly weekly report card brought to you by David Wright. He's going to go ahead and tell you how we did last week with all these questions and our waiver wire pickups. Go ahead and take it away.
All right. Quick note before that, if you are over on Facebook and you're watching and you want to comment, please follow the link and give StreamYard permission to see your Facebook name so that when Sid puts your beautiful comment up on the screen, everybody knows it was you.
It was Janae, so I don't know why her name doesn't show up. Last week I commented on something and I've signed up before, and normally I don't have to do it every time, and it was showing me as Facebook user too. So I don't know.
It is finicky.
Yeah.
Because I jump in on a lot of the shows and I don't even mess with it anymore. I just go in and immediately do it every time because sometimes it carries over to the next show and sometimes it doesn't. So little helpful hint for the viewers out there. All right. So last week we did have some questions from all of you lovely people. Kyle asked if he should start the Commies defense or the Las Vegas Raiders. We were all unanimous to start Vegas because nobody wants to be a commie, except for Sean. Nathan brought up a great topic that we had some fun with last week, and we'll actually be carrying over into our next segment about Derrick Henry for CMC. We're going to have some fun with that conversation today. Thank you, Nathan. Let's see. One of our hosts actually had a question last week. Ash asked Sean if Scary Terry was going to be scary again now that good old Heineken was back. I was emphatic. I told you, yes, absolutely, start Terry McLaurin. He put up 18.3. Nathan also asked about
he's back. Scary Terry's back to being scary. Called it. You get a real quarterback out there and look what happens.
It happened. You know,
Aaron Rodgers.
hey, we're in the report card. This is perfect. Sid and I had a long running conversation between Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz, and in the end, we were both wrong. They both just sucked. But Sid did claim that once Wentz got a number one receiver, because Pittman wasn't that Wentz would be better. That would be successful. And what do you know? You put Heineken back in, and all of a sudden, Terry is scary again. So Sid and I both get L's for that because Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz are trash.
Hey, he made Jahan Dotson look good.
Matt Ryan just lost his job to who?
What's up?
No. Yeah.
Matt Ryan just lost his job to Sam Ellinger.
Yeah, we're getting there.
How embarrassing. How does it feel to be a vet that's like gone to the Super Bowl and you just got benched for Ellinger?
Yep. And it's going to be interesting. I'm sure Sid and I both have notes on that for the waiver segment. But yeah, way to go, Matty Ice. I had big hopes for you this year. I was real big on Pittman because I thought you still knew how to play football. So if you're out there and you're listening, thanks.
Pittman?
So
I think
Nathan,
Pittman gets better because who is Ellinger going to throw the ball to? You're going to go for the number one, right? You're going to feed the number one?
Wait till the waiver wire pickup segment, and I'll tell you.
I think he's going to get better. Maybe that's just because I have him in fantasy and I want him to get better, and I'm just like wishful thinking.
So Nathan asked if Harris was back, was he going to get touches? Sid and I both felt like he was going to get touches. Sid did not like Ramondre going forward because he thought we were all getting Belichick, which was a very valid concern. We've seen it numerous times. I was more on the side of Ramondre is really, really staking his claim to that starting job and making Harris more and more irrelevant. It's still yet to be seen because it's Bill Belichick. Mr. Smoke and Mirrors over there. But this week, Ramondre ate again. Then Ethan John was asking about trading Chubb and D-Hop for Eckler and Kyler. Kyler replacing Tom Brady in his lineup. We were all very much on board with this trade. And Chubb put up 18-7, D-Hop 20. Eckler put up 36-7, and Kyler gave him 17, which would have been 6 over the quarterback he had in his lineup previously. Ethan, if you're out there, let us know if you ended up making the trade, and congratulations if you did, sir. Now on to our waiver picks for last week. I was really hoping that Mariota was going to be able to get into the end zone off his legs. He did not, and that kind of ended up being the difference between him being disappointing and a solid streaming quarterback for last week. He only gave you 12 points. Sid gave you Bailey Zip on a Ball Zappy, who might be worse than Mac Jones. I don't know. We'll see. But Sid redeemed himself. He also gave you Danny Dimes, 28 points from Danny Dimes, had a monster week in the air, on the ground. Apparently, the New York Football Giants, they know how to play football. Nobody knew.
Did we know Danny Dimes was even capable of this? I did not. I did not know Daniel Jones could do the things he's doing right now. Baseball needs Coach of the Year because that is impressive.
We all
Danny
know
Dimes trying to get that money.
We all know the man
this is the year he gets paid.
We all know he can run the ball, but he also threw the ball 30 times in this game. 200, little over 200 yards, I believe he had. But it's very surprising what they're doing over there.
To?
Wan'Dale Robinson, and then he got
what's
hurt.
that?
Who is hurt, but I don't think it's anything. It's undisclosed, so I don't think he'll be out. I saw him on the injury report as questionable, but it was like an undisclosed thing. So
okay. No, you don't, Sean. Sorry, I'm seeing these comments over here. I promise you don't, Sean.
Hey.
All right. So then we had running backs. We talked about Kenyon Drake and Gus the Bus. I did not think that it was going to be so much of a landslide in Gus's favor. Drake was irrelevant. And that running back room is going to be extremely frustrating to navigate going forward. Obviously Gus looks great this week. He's not an explosive talent. And obviously with J.K. Dobbins, 4 to 6 week IR, and then Justice Hill trying to stick his nose back in there. That whole running back situation over there, and the fact that they've all been hurt at some point this year, they're all one play away from being out for 2 weeks again. I don't trust any of it. But Gus did give you 18-6. Latavius Murray, what was it, 10.3 points. And Melvin, good old Melvin, gave you 7. This was just a really weird situation. We talked about this last week. I really expected Melvin to get shipped out this last week. I still think it could happen, maybe. But all of a sudden they go from not wanting Melvin Gordon on the field to actually giving him more touches than Latavius Murray. I think the coaching staff over there in Denver all need to sit down and have a real coming to Jesus
moment.
moment.
Boone is also hurt too.
Who is? Yeah,
so
Boone's out.
That
we're getting
makes
there.
Gordon
We're
more relevant.
There.
Oh, sorry. I'm jumping the gun.
Ash loves to do that.
I do. I'm sorry. Well, I just figured that's probably why Gordon. I was trying to reason why Gordon was on the field more. Okay.
Well, I mean, they named him as the starter like 2 days after our last show. I'm over here telling you, don't get rid of Melvin, but obviously they hate him, and then their
trade him, and then,
idiot coach comes out 2 days later and Melvin's starting. I'm tired of that coaching staff over there. Anyway. Wide receivers, Wan'Dale put up 11. His usage, his snap count actually, I believe, went down, but he was so much more efficient. He's obviously the focal point of that passing attack. I do think that going forward, he might I think the loss of Daniel Bellinger might hurt him if teams are really able to just lock down on him and try and remove him and just leave Saquon as the only viable weapon over there outside of Daniel Jones. Who knew? Then we had Robbie Anderson, who wasn't really a factor going into this week. He didn't have enough time. He got in there, but going forward, I definitely agree with Sid that is definitely something to look at. Tyquan Thornton, we were up in the air on this. Sid really liked him. I was reserved. We didn't know who was going to be quarterback. It turns out it didn't matter who was quarterback because they both played, and he didn't do anything. So I do think the kid has a bright future for all the reasons we discussed last week, as far as his ability to be involved in the running game, especially when you have two quarterbacks who are looking as bad as those two are. So Sid gave a shout out to Chase Claypool because he hates Deontay, and Chase gave you 9 points. So, if that was enough to get you through the week, congratulations. We took a real deep dive on a bunch of rookie tight ends, and it is looking like the way we had them ranked. I think if Bellinger had stayed in the game, he probably would have outscored Dulcich and Otten, but he did not, and he will now be out indefinitely. But Dulcich and Otten both gave you just over double digits. Ingram and Gesicki. Ingram gave you 10. Gesicki gave you 5. I told you not to chase that. And Dalton Schultz ended up playing. So, we had all 3 tight ends involved in that game, but I think the game script changed the second Amon-Ra went out, and our defense was doing 90% of the work for the offense. So I don't think it's a great measuring stick for the tight end room in Dallas. But that was last week.
All right, I'm gonna hit through some comments real quick. We got a bunch of questions that came in, so I'm just gonna kind of run through some of them and get to the ones so we can answer, and then kind of go from there. So, started with Nicole saying, "Who are you guys' top 2 receivers that would be on that are on other than the team that is scary?" I think she's talking about the Colts. Sorry, I couldn't read that from where I'm at, but she's talking about the other 2 receivers from the Colts. I'm gonna highlight that in the waiver wire segment, so we'll hit that later. She said she has Albert O. She's had the Albert O from the longest time, the tight end for the Broncos. She asked if she should drop them for someone else. 100%. Pretty sure everybody agrees with that. Didn't really need to get into that because absolutely do that. Kyle.
Broncos it's bad.
Kyle said, should I pick Famous Jameis or Mac and Cheese Jones this week? My QB is on a bye. I would double check to see if either of those guys are starting this week, because Andy Dalton and I think Zappy might be the starters, so you might not get either of them. Andy Dalton has been starting and playing decent. I mean, Andy Dalton had 26 points or something this week, so double check and make sure they're the starters before you go and pick either of those guys up. And then here's a couple of questions we can kind of get into. Andrew said, has Rachaad White slowly become a consideration? Become a considerate. Sorry, he worded this like a Canadian. Has slowly become a consideration. I couldn't read that.
That's not nice.
Because they speak properly and I don't, and so I couldn't read it right. Anyway, I will throw that out there. I'll say something about him because I did throw him on. If you follow the Let's Talk Football page on Facebook, if you don't, go like and share or comment and follow that. Sorry, Andrew, you're just smarter than me.
You should have just said Rachaad White, eh? And then we would have known what you were trying to say.
That was on me. That was not on you.
I still don't know what Andrew asked. I'm actually just pulling it up, so proceed.
Okay. If you follow the Facebook page, I did give out some little last-minute pickups for Sunday right before the game started, just for anybody. All the Canadians are coming for me now. I said it was on my fault. I said you guys are the proper ones, not me. The Americans are dumb.
Speak for yourself.
Anyway, I said that Rachaad White is a solid pickup because I think he is talented, and I think a lot of teams lean towards a 2 running back system if they can. Rachaad White has shined when given the opportunity, aside from a fumbled punt return, but even after that, they still gave him the ball and scored. I do like Rachaad White, and he is going to
Yeah,
he definitely has consideration going forward. He's not startable yet, unless it's a desperate play, I don't think. But if you have a bench spot or anything, even in redraft leagues, I do think he is very much worth a stash.
It's not kind of just keeps going up and up and up though, so that's good. Even when they're behind, they're using him more than using Fournette. Just depressing because I got Fournette in the league, but this is your bum team, Andrew. You should know what they're gonna do. You tell me.
I think so. So that was my long-winded answer as I defended myself when I kind of sounded like I was roasting the Canadians when I wasn't. Do you guys have anything to say about Rachaad White?
I like Rachaad White. Like I said, his snap counts are going up, so that's positive. And even when they're behind, they continue to utilize him. So it's not like they're just going to be like, oh, we stink now. We're just going to go with Fournette. So Tampa is embarrassing. I don't know what they're doing.
If the injuries that we've already seen this year tell you anything, when you have somebody talented like Rachaad White, if you have the roster spot, I would absolutely waste it on him.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very similar to, Isaiah Pacheco, who, broke a lot of hearts this week when, he got the start and then
didn't do anything.
I mean, that didn't mean anything. But those are two guys who are behind older and or injury-prone backs who just waiting for their shot at the starting job. So, yeah, definitely.
I mean, to be fair, like CEH didn't really do anything either.
He got a touchdown.
He got 9 points. That's what he does. That's all he does. If he doesn't score touchdowns, you're absolutely screwed because that's what I have him. And if he scores a touchdown, that's all the points you're going to get. You're not going to get points from him doing anything else for you.
And just how dare.
I know. He said something about Schultz, which.
We're not there yet. We're going to go back to Nicole because she was next.
I have stuff to say.
We're going in order here.
I have stuff to say.
Nicole said, this is a weird question. I'm confused when making trades on Yahoo. Why some players are yellow compared to green for a plus sign. I think I know what this is, but David, do you know why that is?
I've never played on Yahoo.
Okay,
I'm guessing.
Okay, go ahead.
What's up?
I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but I was going to let you take it.
I'm guessing it's comparing the two players.
No, I'm pretty sure it's yellow, green, or red, depending on their matchup that week. I don't think it has anything to do with the trade itself. It's just the matchup versus who they're playing. So, like, for example, a quarterback versus when they play Atlanta, a quarterback is going to show up as green because Atlanta is giving up a lot of points to opposing quarterbacks fantasy-wise. So they're a good play. Whereas if they show up against, like, the Cowboys, they'll show up red because the Cowboys are playing very good against and giving up less fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. That's my best example as to why it's doing that. I don't think it has anything to do with the trade itself.
That's not what this says.
Okay.
This says.
What's Google say?
That if the plus symbol is green, they're available immediately, but if they're yellow, they must be claimed off the waiver wires.
So that has nothing to do with trading then.
The process. Oh. Well, that's weird, isn't it? Maybe.
You know what? Nicole actually said that she had a trade in for waivers.
So she's talking about waivers.
So this might actually be
Nicole, screenshot it and send it.
If it's a waiver claim, then that's exactly what it is, whether or not the person's on waivers or not. But
yeah, so then to explain that further, if they're green, that means they can be picked up right now. You don't have to wait for a waiver day to process. What a waiver process is if a player becomes available, or if it's right after games on Monday, every player all teams have the chance to put in a waiver claim for that player. Like, so say me, Ash, and David all wanted the same player. If they are yellow, we all have a chance to put a claim in for them. And then there's a claim or a waiver order of each team, depending on either record or the last time you claimed somebody. Each league is different and could be set up in different ways. But basically, it means everybody gets a chance at that player and can put in for it. Whereas a green player means you can just pick them up right now and nobody else, and then they're yours. That's the best way to do that. Sorry.
Yeah, that's that like look.
Okay, yeah. The best gift to use, I like personally. So this is this question is, what is the best gift to use when you finally win against somebody? I personally like one of the ones where the actor goes out in the rain, drops down to his knees, and points to the sky, and it's like raining, and you're just like, yes, like celebration. That's a good one.
What are you talking about?
You know, from you've seen it 100 times because I tell you, I watch it every time. It's called Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank. I knew
it.
When he
Why
escapes
is
prison.
that the question? You know, the one that when you win should be the one with the flames with Elmo. I love that one.
I was gonna go with the Elmo fire too. Yeah.
Yeah, see?
All right, so that was that one. And then here's your Schultz question that you wanted to get to. Andrew said, Schultz is only valuable when Dak plays. Take it away, Cowboy fans.
Okay, which this season, I don't even know if that is going to be true. Because Dak's first touchdown of the season went to
Hendershot.
Drum roll. Hendershot, which I would put as our third tight end because it's, to me, it's Schultz, Ferguson, Hendershot. So this is typical Cowboys. Schultz is supposed to get paid. Needs to get paid, paying on the franchise tag. We are not going to use Schultz because that wouldn't make any sense because we are going to kick him out after the season's over. So we are going to get Ferguson and Hendershot in there, I think, a lot. We're going to figure out how to utilize them a lot, and I think that makes Schultz go down because these two, I mean, they look pretty good, and they're utilizing this opportunity with Schultz being hurt to get out there and show that they can be the guys. So I think Schultz is just not a good fantasy tight end right now and moving forward because I think his usage just is going to be shared between these two, not only one, but two other guys that we have on our team right now. And with him being injured, he can kind of sit back and not have to be the guy because we have two other guys that can step in. But that's just my opinion. And done.
Other Cowboy fan?
I think this was a really bad week to try and evaluate any of the question marks in the Dallas offense. Dak, Schultz, Gallup. Amon-Ra went down, and our defense, it was this slow defensive battle in what was supposed to be a high-scoring, exciting game. But then our defense, they kicked it into overdrive and did 90% of the work for our offense. I don't think this was a great game to evaluate anybody at the moment, but I do agree with Andrew. Schultz, Dak loves Schultz.
Dak also loves to make tight ends who are supposed to be nothing look like they're something. A la how Schultz even became what he is in the first place because Darwin got hurt and then Schultz came up. So you could see that kind of same thing.
And from an unbiased Cowboys
I'm very biased
person, why Schultz was relevant and why whatever tight end is the tight end that will be relevant for Dallas, it's because Dak plays smart football and looks for the open guy and doesn't bomb it down the field and look for it and try and feed it to his receivers. And that's why Schultz did so good last year because Schultz is always open over the middle of the field. Something the Steelers don't know how to do is use the middle of the field.
And their defense doesn't know how to defend the middle of the field because they never see it in practice.
Also, Dak.
Can you guess how many times I've heard that while watching?
Anyway.
I digress.
Dak likes to look for the short routes before he looks for the deep routes, and that's tight ends, and that's why Schultz ate last year, and it will be whoever. It's not he loves Schultz, he loves his tight end.
Because Jarwin looked good before he got hurt, and now Schultz looks good. Yeah, that just worries me that Schultz isn't, if he's injured and then somebody like Ferguson goes in and starts getting all the looks, that it'll kind of be the same thing where it's like Jarwin got moved out and Schultz got moved in.
I think how the play of Ferguson and Hendershot though will mean that Schultz is going to be gone next year, but
absolutely.
Anyway, I think we've caught up on questions.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.